All right, there we go. Okay. So we're here. Don't mind the psych ward. I mean, we already talked about the psych ward before I turned the camera on. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you want to like move up just a little bit. You're like way on the edge of the little screen. Yeah, just a little bit. There. Yeah, there you go. That's good. Yeah. Oh, there's one rat. It happened. It happened. The rat bounced around in the recording. Let's go. Okay. Perfect. All right.
Awesome.
So, speaking of rats, well, like I talked to you about before we got started, I think that's what we were gonna. Well, I was gonna talk about today, and you wanted to join, so we were like, I was like, I say we. I'm losing my mind. I was like, sure, and so here we are in the psych ward, but you know, obviously, furries and talking about animals would of course. Um, but the reason I'm thinking about like talking about this kind of stuff is um, rats, possums, snakes, just all the above. Really, like a lot of. I'm gonna move just like this a little bit, I like this angle. There we go. A lot of the above, are often those kind of animals that a lot of people see. Like usually, unless they're like people who work with animals a lot, or unless they're furries, see those kind of animals as just like like ooh, gross,
Pets.
scary. Yeah, as pests. Like literally, earlier today, I was looking up on my phone like stuff for taking care of rats as a pet, and I forgot to put as a pet in the search line. And the first thing I got was an exterminator. I was like, man, which I do still get that, like because rats, possums, generally rodents, they can be like pests to people because of the way
If they're
they
not
live.
domesticated, they can be.
Yes,
They're if they're not domesticated, they're not domesticated. They're
yeah,
gonna do. They're
yeah,
gonna be a
and
nuisance to
and
keep themselves
any
sustained.
exactly, and any animal that is not domesticated can be a nuisance. Like dogs, like when I say wild dogs, I don't mean like the actual animal, the wild dog, like the hunting dog.
Like street dogs.
Yeah, like street dogs, street cats, or even just domesticated cats that live outside, which, by the way, as you know, is super bad for the environment. And I'm sure most people watching this,
Mm-hmm.
if anybody does watch this, yes, I'm looking at you, like three people who watch this, whoever you are. Um, I'm sure you probably know, yeah, that shit bad for the environment. If you have a cat, don't let them be an outside cat. Um, because not only will they, kill birds and stuff, but they'll also kill like small like rodents, like voles, sometimes moles too, actually, um, and rats, mice,
They
etc.
also just really shit on the curbs.
True. Um, like even though like actually, what's funny is my channel banner is actually a picture of a cat who lives in my neighborhood. Name literally, username is just Kitty. A 7 year old named her, so you're not really surprised. But
Oh,
she is an
that's
outdoor
cute.
cat, except for she just kind of stays around like one or two houses, and I'm in a very like stereotypical urbanized neighborhood, so she, as far as outdoor cats go, she's not too bad because there's not much around for her to murder anyway. But still, the point stands. Like she's fine and all that, and I love her, even though she's not my cat. She likes to sit in my front yard. But anyway, that being said, like any animal that's not domesticated, they can be a pest. It's just rats, possums, you know, snakes. Snakes aren't even really known as pests. People are just scared of them. But like rats, possums,
Yeah, because
etc.
they're associated with death.
Yeah, and I think a
They're
big
associated with death, and it's kind of
they're associated with
unfair
death,
stereotype.
and they're like the it was a snake that, like, in terms of like religious
Venom.
stuff, Adam and Eve with that
Venomous.
stuff. Venomous,
Oh
venomous,
yeah.
associated with death, and they have a hit like a cultural context for a lot of people as being bad. Like snake is often like the representative, like, like lying, deceit,
Of
the
a
devil,
liar.
the devil,
Yeah.
all that stuff. And no matter what you believe in, like, you're free to believe what you believe, but like I still think people should really take into account like that kind of like ignoring that kind of stuff to an extent. Like, yes, I'm not saying if it's a venomous snake, don't go up and pet it. This is with any wild animal. Don't go up to a wild animal. You're asking to get like hurt. But any animal is like that. But that being said, I think it's not only important to not let like that wild connotation. I think like how do I say it? It's important to not let the existence of wild animals drive you fully away from just that animal as like a species.
You need to realize the difference between
Yes,
domesticated and wild.
domesticated and wild, because like for example, like street rats carry diseases and they generally look pretty bad because they'll have mange, they'll be scruffy, and yeah, they can be aggressive because that's their life. They're like they spend their life fighting. And I'm not saying like ooh sympathy for street rats, even though yeah, I feel bad for them. But that being said, because street rats carry diseases, they typically smell bad, etc., that doesn't mean other rats that would be like pets or something are gonna carry diseases, are gonna smell bad, are gonna be like ripping up your house, etc., etc. That being said, though, if you do have a pet rat, you do need to supervise them when they're out of their little kennel, because rats are naturally curious and they are very intelligent, and they will chew up your electrical wires because electrical wire is fun to chew on.
Oh, I'm gonna correct you there. Rats are actually out of the rodent family between rat and mice. Mice are the ones known for curiosity. Rats are known for their superstition and carefulness.
Ah, okay. So I guess
Some of the smartest animals ever.
yeah, rats are absolutely one of the smartest things. When I say curiosity, I guess I mean more so rats are superstitious, like you said, they are careful, because like that is something
They're gonna want to find out they want to learn everything.
Yes,
They're really clever little things.
and that's what I mean by curious. I don't mean like curious sense of like I'm gonna run in here and do something to get me killed. I mean they are going to explore. Like they're natural learners, and they will explore. They will test stuff with their mouth and with their little hands and everything like that. And that's why I mean they could chew up electrical cables, because an electrical cable is just the right size for them to pick up with their little hands and mess with. And meanwhile, in the context of like giving a rat a little cable to mess with would probably be fine, but I would still, one, you wouldn't want to do that if it's a live cable, because that's how you get a shortage in your house and or kill your pet rat, which you shouldn't do, obviously. And even then, I obviously don't know much about taking care of rats. I do want to get pet rats, honestly, but that being said, only get like pets approved toys and stuff like that. Don't give your rat I don't know. Don't give your rats like cesium-37 or some shit. That's a bad idea. But yeah.
All you have to do is just give them something hard to chew on.
Yeah, because
not gonna destroy their teeth.
Yeah, because their teeth continuously grow.
Their teeth don't stop growing.
Yeah, they grow for their whole life, and that's why they gnaw on stuff, because they have to trim them. Yeah, where their teeth will literally grow through their bottom jaw, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, it's called malocclusion.
Malocclusion, okay. But yeah, but that being said, like rats are really good pets, and honestly, because they're so smart, I've honestly kind of considered, if it comes to me getting one, well, two preferably, because they need company. Obviously, I'll play with them and everything, but rats do best in pairs. I was thinking,
it's illegal to buy them in singles.
I actually love that. That's a good thing. I hope it's like that over there, and that's not just a thing in Britain. But
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's America, so I can like go to the store and buy like a nuclear bomb at this point. So who knows?
Yeah.
But oh, go ahead. Yeah, it's a bit fucked. Anyway, you're fine. It's okay. I don't care about swearing. It's just in like the first like few minutes of the video, and YouTube like loses their mind or whatever. So I don't really care after that. But that being said, what was I going at? Yes, what I was thinking about with my rats, if I do buy some, is I want to see if I can litter box train them. Like, I can get a tiny little litter box for their little kennel, and I can train them to when they need to go to the bathroom, specifically go in there to make cleanup for me easier.
You'd be surprised just how easy that actually is. Really surprised.
And honestly, yeah, I don't expect it to be hard. I just need to figure out how exactly I'm going to go about doing it.
No, like, rats can naturally learn stuff like that. Like, so, for example, if you fill where they live up with a very specific type of material, then move that material into a litter box, they will associate shit on the floor with that material.
So you're saying if you put this, like you put this material all over the bottom of their little kennel, leave it there for like a few times as you clean it out, and then you take it all and put it in the box, they'll start going in there? Okay. Okay. That is good to know. I'm gonna remember that.
I've taken care of rats. I've even walked in a pet store before where I've had to take care of rats and all sorts of wee things.
Yeah. I like how you suddenly got more Scottish.
And I've been trying to train myself to stop doing this stupid wee accent.
Yeah. Well, it's up to you. I don't care what you sound like. You're still my friend, regardless.
I just want to sound my natural self.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine with me. I don't care. Go for it. But you're fine. Go for it. I do not mind in the slightest. It's not I think I've already literally told you before. If I was born literally anywhere else, I would want to be born in somewhere with a Scottish accent, because I love the Scottish accent. It sounds so nice. I'm not just saying that to like make you feel better. I'm legitimately serious. That's like a thought I've had like my whole life. Is honestly, I'd love to be born over in Scotland. It seems like it's such a pretty place, and the people there, as far as I know, are really nice.
It's a really nice. It's a really nice. It's a really lovely place.
God,
People are lovely.
yeah, because
Countrysides are lovely, and places aren't actually that bad.
oh god, yes, because like my family actually hails from Scotland. I like it's obviously like distilled a lot by this point, but I do like a big part of my family originally comes from actually the Scottish Highlands. I am still technically like I'm a descendant of I think it's the Campbell clan. That's the original. The specific offshoot of the Campbell clan that I was a part of was responsible for murdering like 20 people in the 13th century. Whoopsies. I'm not even kidding. Like that's my family history is we murdered 20 people in the 13th century as part of like a dispute because I think we were like apparently backed by the king at the time, and he really didn't like these other people. And so he was like, guys, kill these people. And we were like, yes, sir. And so that's what happened. Apparently, I've not had a lot of luck researching it myself, but apparently this like event, you can like these two clans still hate each other to this day, and you can still like find this event if you look in the right spots online. Because
across Scotland, tons of people still actually get at each other's throat over stuff.
yeah,
it's a natural thing.
Yeah. Well, it's
Ireland
thousands of
is
years of
known
history.
for- Ireland is known where it's worse.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't just go away. Like
Ireland is known for where it's worse, though.
Ireland, you said?
You know, I'm assuming you know the Irish Civil War.
Yeah, I know the troubles.
How it's been going on for. But that's been going on for God knows how long now. Like,
Because it technically stopped. I think around. Well, when I say technically, I mean the big air quotes here. The official de-arming of the IRA. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, no, obviously it didn't stop.
Yeah. The de-arming stopped, of course, but there's still people chucking Molotovs everywhere.
Yeah.
You can never know.
I mean, hey, I'd rather have people chucking Molotovs than America. So, I'll take it. Honestly, I'm not even kidding. But yeah, like because the lore behind what happened from what I've been told by my father, because it's on my father's side, is apparently. So back then, now obviously I don't know how relevant this kind of stuff is today, but there were like bunches of like like the unwritten rules every society has, where we like. And one of them was basically even if you're like if anybody shows up at your doorstep, even if they're your worst enemy and asks for food and shelter, you have to give it to them. That was basically the basic gist of it. So what happened apparently is the guys that my ancestors murdered showed up to their like manor, castle, whatever it was, to like basically take advantage of this rule and gloat. And so what my family did is they were like, yeah, sure. They took all of them in. This was like the whole clan. It was like the whole hierarchy of like the main family. They fed them a nice feast. They laid into bed, and they slit all 20 of their throats in their sleep. And then apparently they also hung them from a tree out front.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Yep.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that was my family who did that. Thanks, guys. Really cool. And then on the side of my family from after we came to America is just a bunch of gunfights and moonshining. I like how we went from talking about rats to this.
Well,
Oh, hey, rat in frame. Yeah, it's a good story.
Rat and Frame.
Go ahead.
But if we're talking about traditions in our clan's family, my family's clan, which is the McDonald clan.
Actually, I think those are the guys we killed. Those are the guys we killed. I think it was the McDonald clan.
Nope.
It wasn't? I swear I thought it...
The McDonald clan was north. The McDonald clan was in the
North Scotland.
parts of Scotland.
Who are the guys we killed then? I say we like I was part...
Were the Western.
Okay.
The Westerns.
Okay.
So, and then we off family's clan was the front charge, Robert the Bruce's army.
Oh.
The Scottish Resistance.
Yeah, are you talking about during like the Scottish, like the I forget what year it was, but like with the Highland charge and everything like that? Yes. That what you're talking about? Yeah.
Yep.
Hell yeah. I've always
Robert the Bruce.
I remember watching a video on YouTube like like a few weeks ago that was basically like a historical, like it was a bunch of reenactors, and it was talking about like this analysis of how that war went down, and basically as a British soldier, what was it like to experience a Highland charge? And I was like, damn, them Scottish people got balls.
Couldn't do that.
It worked.
Balls of steel.
I know.
I don't use them, but
It worked. It worked. It worked, though. That's for sure. It worked for quite a while. Because even though they keep
stubborn. That's the only trait we have. We have an accent and a stubbornness.
Yeah, and that's just, so half the time that's all you need.
Exactly.
Basically, all the Irish, they have that and the ability to drink the entire world's content of beer and walk it off. So you guys just have you have stubbornness in the accent, and the Irish just have beer in the accent. Not to say you guys don't do the same, but still, the Irish, as you know, are the ones known for being able to.
Scotland is the country who invented whiskey.
Okay.
So yeah, we're known for that.
Okay. Hey, at least you didn't invent the car bomb, though. The IRA did that. Okay. Well, last funny thing before we get kind of back on topic, which this is exactly kind of why I like making this kind of thing, and I think I want to do it more often, like bringing in like my friends, is because sure, like we start with an idea and then we just yap about random stuff, and it's entertaining and it's good for people to listen to. It's literally basically just a podcast, not gonna lie, but I would love to see an Irishman or a Scotsman versus a Russian in a drinking contest. Who dies first? Because I know neither side is stopping until one side dies.
I'll bring them in. I'll bring folk. I'll do it. I'll bring folk. I'll do it.
I would like you.
Do it on video.
I have a feeling you would win, but just in case you didn't, I would like you not to die. So just in case. Because I mean, Russians are out here basically like drinking gasoline at this point. So I don't know.
Whiskey is one of the highest purities in any alcohol, so...
Well, I know, isn't vodka, like, higher, though? Isn't it, like, whiskey than vodka? I don't know alcohol.
It really depends.
Okay.
Depends.
Like, brands, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Despite the fact that, like, 80% of my current family are, like, hillbilly moonshiners who live in the mountains, I know nothing about alcohol. Because... yeah. Because,
moonshine isn't really alcohol either, it's just straight up toxins.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of? It honestly, well, it's actually not even reminds me of. This is the base. This is the actual straight reference to it. Obviously, you know Warhammer, right? So,
of course.
Yes. So, Space Wolves, who are literally just space Vikings. The alcohol that they brew and drink is dead ass just a poison. That's all it is. It is a incredibly toxic poison from I think, a plant on their homeworld, that for anybody who's not a space marine, it would basically just dissolve you. You would just die instantly, but they distill it and make it into like the universe's strongest alcohol. That's the alcohol they drink. Yeah. And like that's the best part is everything I've just told you, that is completely canon. I have not made any of that up, except for the fact that it might be from a plant. I don't know if it's from a plant or an animal, but I know it comes from Fenrir, their homeworld, and I know it's literally just a poison. That's all it is. Yeah, but so wrapping back around at least for a little bit from the familicide and the funny Scottish drinking people. So wrapping back to like we've talked about rats and how like despite every all the bad rep they get, and like the fact that basically the message, yes, the message I want anybody who decides to listen to this to get from, if they don't already agree with this, or even if they do, to reinforce it, is animals, just because the wild versions of them may get bad reputations or things like that, which makes sense because they are wild animals, and the animals that tend to hang around people more and still be wild animals and not cutesy little dogs or cats or whatever, they get the bad reputation for just being a wild animal. Basically, what I'm saying is, don't knock it till you try it, in terms of don't just see this animal and be take a little while to look at it, think about it. Same thing goes for possums, which honestly, I just possums are just big rats to me. I love them.
They're just goofy creatures.
Yeah, they're just goofy little rats. Goofy big rats. They're the same thing, in my opinion. Possums...
It's like the combination of a raccoon...
Yeah, it's a raccoon and a rat. Yeah, and I was actually going to mention raccoons as well. Raccoons are stupid smart, too. Raccoons are really smart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and before
They have evolved to now wash their
yeah, they wash their
in
food.
puddles and stuff. That's amazing.
Yeah, they wash their
That's
food. They keep
amazing.
themselves clean. They they what's the word? They orchestrate what they eat. Like, and meanwhile, like rats and possums are obviously much less picky eaters. Like they will and even raccoons and like they will eat.
Rats are dead clean too.
Yeah.
Rats are really clean.
Oh, absolutely. When I say less
Like,
picky
rats-
eaters, I just mean they're willing to eat more things, but they're still clean about it. Rats are
Oh,
still
yeah,
clean animals. Yeah,
100%.
that's why. Like,
Scientists actually did a study that rats can be cleaner than us.
yeah, it's like that funny thing of where people are like, people are like never touch the toilet seat. And I'm not saying like go kiss your toilet seat or whatever, but typically a toilet seat is cleaner than a doorknob.
100%.
It's the same thing of like rats do a better job at keeping themselves clean because like not only is that just part of what they do, that's just like part of their daily routine, just it's ingrained into them and it's just what they do. We as people, we don't do that anymore. Like we don't always like wash our hands, take showers, whatever. And we can, and which makes perfect sense. And even if we did, like on honest, like people, and also another thing is humans, we have a lot bigger of a surface area when it comes to our skin than rats do. And I mean including the hair. So it is feasibly easier for a rat to clean themselves because they are, they have a less surface area, they have less to clean, even in terms of proportion to their size. Like, even though they are minuscule compared to us, like we have a ton of stuff. Like, for example, there are most likely little mites and bugs living on your eyelashes. Congratulations. And even though that...
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
Yeah. That's what I was going at is that sounds horrible. I know. But, and even though I was talking this in about dirty, humans and other animals, we have little tiny things that live all over us. And yes, it seems gross, but they actually help keep us healthy. Sir, like anything else, it can become an issue if like there's too many of them. Like, for example, there is actually like a disease you can get when there are these little... So what I'm going to tell you is there are these little mites. They are these teeny little bugs that they live around on your eyebrows and on your eyelashes. And I know that sounds gross, but I'm going to explain something. They are actually helpful animals. What they help do is they eat dead skin. They help keep you... Basically, they help keep your skin healthy. That's just what they do. So it sounds gross, but that is literally just what they do. However, just like, for example, with like E. coli, which is normally a intestinal bacteria, but can become an issue if it gets out, with these little mites, if they reproduce too much or you get too many of them, you can get basically a disease that it can be cured and everything. It's nothing crazy, but basically their like excretions and waste will create like crust around your eyes that can be irritating. So it's like that. It's like it's honestly even on a tinier scale, the same thing of what I'm talking about with like wild animals, of everything like that seems really gross at first. But then when you look into it and you think about it, it's little tiny bugs that they're living on your body. And yeah, for a lot of people, that's just going to be gross. But whenever it does start to gross you out, think about it, just remember like they are helping you. They are not like, it's not a devastation. Yeah, it's gross, but it's important to your bodily health. Like,
well, yeah, exactly. Like
go for it.
Everything coexists. Like,
Exactly.
They coexist off of us, and we exist off.
Yeah,
of them.
we give them protection because they live in our hair, so they don't have to worry about other little predators and stuff. And they get food. Well, like, and they get food from eating dead skin, and we get, like, they help keep our skin healthy by not allowing dead skin to accumulate on it. And it's the same thing with like all the bacteria inside of our bodies. Viruses are different. We hate viruses. But bacteria, a lot of bacteria that makes us sick or that causes diseases is literally just bacteria that's already inside us doing something else helpful for us. It's the same thing. Like you said, it's a ratio and it's all a relationship. And when it goes out of whack, that's when stuff happens. Like, for example, being too clean is actually not good for you either. Because you need these little thingies on you to help keep your body healthy. It's like, think of like, if you wash your hair like constantly all the time, like every day, that is actually not good for you. You should, like, from everything I understand, you should usually take a day, it depends on your hair, obviously, but like take a day or two between hair washing. And not to like,
that's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
I have extremely long hair, and I have to wash it
Yeah.
every second day.
But you also have really long hair.
Before
Yeah.
the day, it gets really tangled.
Yeah.
Ratty. So it's usually within that, if I wash it between that, it gets ratty and untidy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just you have to find the right spot for everything needs to be
Yeah, it's every like for example for me, I don't have as long hair. Like obviously the hair I see on this avatar is way too long. But my hair goes around like out to my eye level now. It used to be a lot longer, but the thing is, I have extraordinarily thick hair. My hairstylist likes to say it's like trying to cut through the Amazon jungle whenever she has to cut my hair. And because of that, it is shorter, so I am still able to go a day or two without washing it to like keep that like healthy like ratio. But if I go over by one day, my hair becomes so greasy that it sticks to my head. And that's the whole thing of like health wise, both just with like this is the same thing with animals. Like animals have to keep themselves healthy and same as because the thing is we see ourselves as better than animals. Yeah, sure, we got cars, but we're still animals. Same thing, same thing. I don't even need to say that. I don't need to say that. Everyone knows that. Yeah, we are monkey, but yeah, going past like rats and possums and things like that, which I'm gonna check. I should check our recording and see how we're doing. We're doing good. Probably finish up soon, but going past that, just like to a few other things like reptiles, things like that, or like snakes, or
have never been really seen as an issue.
Yeah, I don't see them as pests, but a lot of people hate snakes just because they hate snakes. They don't actually have any reason to. Same with actually like. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I as you know, I yap too much. Go ahead.
Snakes are always thing is I don't get why snakes are seen as bad because they are also
they're so funny looking.
So many good things.
Yeah, they're actually really helpful animals, and honestly, at least for me, I find snakes hilarious. Like it's just a living rope. Like they're so silly looking. Like, and even then, like, because I love rats, like I don't like watching snakes eat because I feel bad, but it's also at the same time like that's just how they are. They eat. They gotta eat too.
Exactly.
Like I couldn't have a snake because I wouldn't be able to feed him rats because I'd feel too bad, and then he wouldn't get food, and so that's why I wouldn't take care of a snake because I wouldn't be able to take care of him. But the same thing being said, that's no fault on him. Like he has to eat too, and that's just what he eats. That's how it works.
Exactly.
Like, for example, like I'm going to tell you kind of like this is probably like a kind of sad story. My mother is deathly afraid of snakes for really no reason. We had this king snake in my old house that was living in our backyard for a while, and king snakes are basically harmless. They're like decent size. They're a few feet long, like 3-4 feet, but they're not dangerous or anything. Even to like small dogs, like they just hunt like little like moles, rats, that kind of stuff, and they actually help like keep like pests. And when I say pests, I mean like they help keep other animals' populations in check so they don't become issues around you. Exactly. And because that's the main reason why rats can become pests is because they reproduce so much. That's it. And like this king snake, I assume he'd been living in our yard for a while. My mom found him in a bush one day, freaked the hell out, and killed him with a shovel. Honestly, very horribly too. I'm not gonna lie. It was fucking brutal. And I've always messed with her for that since that day because, first of all, bro did not deserve that. He ain't do nothing. Because she tried to like decapitate him, I think, and it didn't work. Let's leave it at that. But so yeah, I've always like I always think back to that day because like obviously like she panicked. And people do stupid stuff in panic, but like I still to this day feel so bad for that snake because like we have this just instinct of snakes like scary long thing, but that snake he didn't do nothing, and he was just, and I don't mean that in the sense of like I'm trying to talk like moral justice here. I mean like like he's just being an animal, but I think that like her reacting like that, obviously that is not the only case of that. That happens all over the world all the time, I'm sure. And yes, there are places where snakes can be an issue. Like, for an example, like, if you live in Australia, or if you live in like heavily jungle areas like South America, you can have huge or venomous snakes that can be an issue because they will defend their territory or they will attack you if you get too close. And yeah, that's an issue. But
that's also just the nature.
That's their home. Which because in reality, no animal is ever invading your home. You have invaded theirs.
Ooh.
We have invaded theirs. Well, yesn't, I guess. Basically, I guess like houseflies. Yes, fuck houseflies. Other than them, we hate them bitches. But in terms of stuff like that, like you said, like These animals, they're still just living in their home, and we're just living around them. And that being said, like, I'm not saying, like, if you see a snake in your backyard, walk up to it and start, like, giving him pets or whatever, you're going to get bit. And if it is a venomous snake, you might die. So don't do that. But that being said, like, basically what I mean is in terms of both domesticated snakes and in terms of wild snakes and just other wild animals like that in general, treat them with respect, you know? Like, you don't just, like, do what my mom did. Like, people are going to freak out, yeah, but don't, like, I feel like it should really be a thing that we try to normalize, that when it comes to animals, especially animals like snakes that scare us, or like possums or raccoons, the first thing should never be just kill that bitch. I want him dead. It should never be, like, I think other than houseflies and mosquitoes, I know mosquitoes have a place in the ecosystem, but I still hate them. Yes, I don't care that they have a place in the ecosystem. I want them gone. But other than them,
Same with wasps.
So no, wasps. You actually would be surprised. Wasps are huge pollinators. They are actually huge pollinators. Yes, wasps, hornets, yellow jackets. They are all huge pollinators. Yes, they are assholes, but they are huge pollinators.
The John Wicks of it.
Yeah, and the thing is actually, especially with wasps too, it's mainly hornets and yellow jackets that are just straight up aggressive. With wasps, they will just defend their home, like, very aggressively. Yes, they are very territorial, but if you leave a wasp alone, it will leave you alone. It will not fuck with you. However, with yellow jackets and hornets, yeah, if you get near them, they will kick the shit out of you. They will beat your ass. But that being said, though, obviously don't go up and start trying to pet a wasp or whatever. But obviously, there are a bunch of services, especially in America, because we have them a lot here. But I'm sure they're all over the world in a lot of countries, where, like, you can call people that will remove those kind of things and rehome them, because it is important that those animals do stay alive, especially pollinators. But overall, yeah.
But anything in mass is just a problem. Anything in mass is a problem. That's why we're a problem. That's why humans are a problem.
And that's the sad thing. And I'm not trying to get... Exactly. Like, and I'm not trying to get all, like, philosophical here, even though that, I guess that is the point, but I don't want to get too heavy into it. Yeah. But basically what I want to say is humans, in terms of... I'm so glad that didn't pop up on the camera. I just got a random invite on VR. Humans... That is the issue we have, is there are we at the rate we consume resources, the earth cannot support this many of us. And it sucks, but that's just how it is. And yes, something will eventually happen, sadly, and something bad will happen, because, and I'm obviously, like, a big rule of, like, what I always want to do with this channel is I never want to get, like, political, that kind of stuff. The only thing I will say, though, is, and this is all sides of the spectrum, you can agree with this, no matter who you think it is, the people who can do something about it on a worldwide scale refuse to do something about it. And that's the sad part.
Exactly, because it's just a human greed. It's just human greed.
Rat on screen! There he is! There he goes!
Rat on screen!
Rat on screen! He is everywhere. There he goes. Bye-bye, buddy. Yeah, there's only one in here for me. He's over there right now, and he's... Yeah. Alright, well... there are quite a few. All right, we're approaching about 30-some minutes, so we'll probably cut it off, at least for tonight. I definitely, if you want to come on here more, I'd love to have you, because it's been fun to talk.
Of course.
Yeah. So, honestly, yeah, that's about it. Yeah, this was supposed to be about, like, animals and everything, and we did talk about that, but yeah, this is basically what's going to happen a lot. It's just yapping about random stuff, so enjoy the background noise. But yeah. Bye-bye. Say bye right now, or I'll be sad.
Salutations.
Oh my god. Okay.